Oh, baseball family, welcome to Thursday Night Live, the Thursday Night Live episode of the Baseball Together podcast. I am Brad, and I'm here with my guy, Mr. Brig. How are you this evening?
Feeling great. Ah, man, am I
Good,
feeling great. Listen here.
good.
This is great. Okay.
Love it.
That's what I have to do.
So,
Mostly great.
I, I, what that Thursday night theme music has gotten me one of my favorite things. There are a few things in this world that I love more than a good slap bass. You know that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love it. But anyway, we got some good stuff to go through tonight. I'm excited. And but before we get to that, though, we got to remind you about Zaka Life. Don't we want to remind you about Zaka Life CBD balm? You can use it for sore muscles, aching joints, and even migraines. Put a little bit on the back of my neck for that. And it works, and it's marijuana free. Hit the link in the description or head to ZakaLife.com and use code BTPOD at checkout to save 5% on your order. Brig, you support the
I like
show
5%
while you're
too,
at it. Yeah,
for the record.
5%'s not bad.
But
But again,
5%'s
that's
better.
Zaka Life. ZakaLife.com, BT Pod. Save 5% off your order for this fantastic CBD balm. We love it. Okay,
We really
let's
do
get
love
into
it.
some things. Let's get into some things here, Brig, because this was
Okay.
an interesting development that hit just a couple days ago. The San Francisco Giants have extended third baseman Matt Chapman. 6 years, $151 million. He is 31 years old at this moment.
Yes, he is.
He's going to wipe out the final 2 years of the deal that he was on. There is no deferred money, no trade clause. Good for him. Coming into the season, he signed a 3-year deal worth $54 million. Had a couple opt-outs, player options that were $17 million next year, $18 million the year after that. This is a significant pay raise for him, Brig.
Yeah. Oh,
He is
yeah.
getting an
For sure.
average annual value in this new deal of about $25 million. So
Whoa.
good for him. One thing I did think was kind of funny though is like he goes, "It feels like home for me. It feels like I've been here a lot longer than one season." This is what he
Yeah.
said in his press conference. I'm like, "Of course, because you played in Oakland."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's true.
Probably living in the same neighborhood he was in when he was in Oakland.
I didn't even think about it that way.
Oh, yeah, I was busting up when I saw this. I was like, "Yeah, because you lived here."
Yeah.
So okay, but
That's really
this
funny.
year, he's having a pretty good year this year. The rest of the Giants has not gone well, right? Especially the other acquisitions. I mean, Solaire's gone. Snell is finally, tossed a no-no, and he's finally back to himself. But it took him a while to get there. This year, he's
Yeah.
slashing 247, 333, and 445 with 22 homers and 69 RBIs. Nice. So this is obviously a very good deal for Matt Chapman. Brig, do you think this is a good deal for the Giants?
I do. I do think it's a good deal for the Giants. I think they are getting a guy who's experienced, mature. I don't think he's all the way past his prime, though there was a long time there that we were pretty worried that he may be. But I think he's had a
Mm-hmm.
better, it's clear he's had a better outing so far this season. I mean, it's almost over. But yes, good deal for the Giants. Really great deal for Matt Chapman. Bravo for whoever his agent is.
So I think it is a good deal for. I think it's definitely, obviously, a good deal for Matt Chapman. I am a little worried of what the Giants are going to be getting going forward, because if you use Nolan Arenado as the yardstick for
Sure.
third basemen who are aging, Nolan Arenado is 33 years old right now.
Yeah, right.
So and these two feel like they were on their careers are just on the same trajectory the entire way, right? And so I would worry a little bit as a Giants fan. Be like, he could be like a year and a half from just falling off
I mean,
and just
that's possible.
being dead weight for the next 4 years of this deal, for the last 4 years of the deal. Because he'll be 37. And I'm not saying, okay,
But
I
listen,
shouldn't say dead weight. I shouldn't say dead weight because Nolan Arenado is not
okay,
dead weight. He provides a lot
correct.
more value than just what he brings on the field, right? He is obviously a voice in the clubhouse and a leader and everything like that. But
Right.
offensively, he could fall off a cliff. Defensively, he's going to lose a step. He's going to, guaranteed.
Of course. But Matt Chapman's bat will not die until after his glove is dead. if we want to use those terms. His defensive capabilities will suffer dramatically before his bat suffers. I promise. So even if they have to slide him into a DH role or to kind of platoon like that, it'll be all right. He's still going to get his value. They're going to get their value.
Aging third baseman. You can always move him to first base
every time. They'll figure it out. This is a good deal.
I don't know.
This is not the end of the world.
If I were a Giants fan, I'd be worried about the last 3 years of this deal for sure. 35, 36, 37. I'd be worried about those.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So, but anyway, good for him. Good for them.
I agree.
They got their guy, right? So it's cool. Worked out.
Well, he got his spot. That's the best part of this.
He did get his spot.
So did you notice my little
again?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He is secured. Now, did you notice the sly little comment I made about good for his agent?
Oh,
Scotty B.
Yeah, you're right. One less thing for him to worry about this offseason.
Yeah, exactly. He won't get to botch it again in another free agency run.
Yep, exactly right. Okay, let's talk about the Cubs for just a couple minutes because that's about all this warrants. The Cubs threw a combined no-hitter against the Pirates last night, Wednesday night. We have some details on this. First off, they won the game 12-0. Good for them. The Pirates have been awful in the second half, and I feel bad about it, to be honest with you. That's another conversation for another day. Shota Mike Imanaga left the game after 7 innings with an 11-0 lead and having thrown 95 pitches. He walked 2. Those are the only 2 walks that the Cubs gave up the entire game. And the Cubs committed 3 errors.
Ooh.
I mean, if you want to help your guy get a no-no, and it looks like there's a chance that you might not make that play, just boot it. Right?
Yeah.
Help out your pitcher.
Yeah.
Nate Pearson and Porter Hodge came in and finished off the game, the 8th and 9th innings. So I think we've talked about this before, and I don't want to beat a dead horse with it, but we don't like combined no-hitters. It's not nearly as impressive as one guy throwing a no-no, going all 9 innings. But I wonder, Brig, where does this rank on the all-time list of groaners or combined no-hitters? Because 3 errors, I'll give him the 2 walks. That's fine. But 3 errors?
That's an atrocious amount of support, of lost support, failed support, whatever we're going to call it. That is usually not the case when you see teams get shut out that bad. Like, it's just not. Whether it's a no-hitter, combined, whatever, it doesn't matter. You don't see 3 errors and an 11-0 shutout or a 12-0 shutout.
Right.
It's insane.
Well, and this is the thing I was thinking about too, is like it almost makes it more impressive that Imanaga was able to get out unscathed, because it's like, well, if you guys aren't going to help it, I got to help myself. I got to get myself out of this mess that you have gotten me in. I didn't get us into this mess. Like what happens sometimes, you got us into the mess, so I'll clean it up.
Yep.
And because the other thing that you see a lot of times in no hitters is like great defensive plays, right? Like
super
early on, second or third inning, somebody's going to make some outstanding play, and it's going to set the tone defensively for the rest of the team the rest of the way. And then you'll see something in like the 6th, then the 8th, and then usually there's something in the 9th that saves it too. When this is the exact opposite. These guys, it seems like they're just kicking the ball all over the field.
What are you going to do?
I want to check real quick. I forgot to look to see. And Imanaga struck out 7. Those are the only 7 strikeouts the Cubs tossed all game.
Wow.
So,
okay, listen. Let me make it very clear while you're looking that up, or whatever you're doing. We don't think combined no-nos are impressive at all. Like, Brad was a little bit equivocal, and he left room for interpretation about, well, they're not as impressive or whatever. I hate to tell you this, but a combined no-no means nothing to me. As a team, you shut out the opponent, great. That's fine. We call it a shutout and everything. Nobody got a hit, fabulous. But if it took more than one pitcher to do it, I don't care. You can run along with that. Just go away. That's ESPN getting all excited. It means nothing for me.
Right. I totally agree. And because you could just go, like, let's go bullpen day. Let's just go bullpen day, and we're going to throw 9 different guys out there.
Sure.
Right?
You could shut out
9 guys out there who can get their 3 outs. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I don't like I do not like combined no hitters. The Mariners threw one. It was probably like a decade ago, and I remember when they were all like, and it was like one of the few things to celebrate that season, right? I was like, oh my gosh,
Right,
combined
right.
no. I was like, who freaking cares?
Yeah.
The bullpen
Well, I
came
think
in and
that's where
locked them down like they're supposed to.
I think that's where it comes from. I think it's the one thing we get to celebrate, and that's must have been where it started. But it's become this thing we celebrate now, no matter what. Like even if the team doesn't need the boost, like Houston, for instance, they have. I feel like Houston has more combined no hitters in the last 3 to 5 years than the White Sox have wins
Well, I th-
this season or something
yeah,
like that.
I mean honestly, I think that the Astros have more no hitters period than the White Sox have wins this year. Like they've been throwing no hitters left and right.
Yeah,
And if you want to get into one hitters, then even then, like
no
it's
kidding.
been
Yeah.
bananas. But this is the thing, like with the Cubs, like I feel like the Cubs should just be like, so what, who cares? So what, who cares? There are only four back in the wild card. Like you're in the hunt still. Like
Yeah.
who cares about this? And I know it's not the White Sox making a big deal out of it, but
Mm, the Cubs, you
and
mean?
it's been a
It's not the
media
Cubs.
thing. But man, like the story is that
It's
they are only 4 games back right now in the
that's
wild
the
card.
actual yes. All thanks to Taylor Swift. Let's just keep plugging that
That's
because it's
right. That's
hilarious.
right. Well, now it's football season, so you're going to see a whole lot more Taylor Swift. Get ready, guys. She's
That's true.
inevitable. Okay, let's talk. Speaking of the White
Speaking of
Sox, let's talk.
inevitable,
yeah. Yeah, okay, let's talk White Sox for just a few minutes because this is just insane to me. Like I cannot when you think it's bad, it gets worse, right?
yeah,
So there was a collision between Miguel Vargas and Andrew Benintendi out in left field. Here's a situation. We have a clip for you. We're going to show it, but this is a situation. Bottom of the second inning, the Orioles are up 4-0 with the bases loaded and 2 outs. 2 outs, Brig. Two. Nick Nastrini was pitching to Eloy Jimenez. Here you go. Here's the pitch. Pops it up sky high. And then you've got, I don't know who's playing shortstop, but there's Vargas. Runs right into Benintendi's shoulder. Man. 3 runs scored, Brig. 3 runs scored on the play. Right. Boom.
oh,
So you played football. I know your collisions were all with a helmet and a face mask. I played
sure.
basketball though, and that specific collision sucks, dude. Like
Oh yeah,
your face to somebody's shoulder, it doesn't mean like I've had the eye, I've had the jaw, like where your jaw like feels like it dislocates and goes like way out here, you know. I've had
yep.
those and it sucks. And I was sitting there watching the video, watching the clip, and Miguel Vargas was down for a while. He ended up coming out of the game, and I was just like, he's just laying on the ground. He's just feeling, has to be just feeling so much pity for himself. Just like,
Yeah.
how has all of this happened? Everything. How has it gotten to this? Like, what is happening? I just feel so bad for that guy. He was on the best
I do
team and one
too.
of the top 3 best teams in baseball, and now he's on the worst team in history.
Yeah, that's no exaggeration. There's no hyperbole there. That is legitimately what has happened. He was playing with one of the greatest baseball players we will ever even heard of on a top tier World Series contending Dodgers team, and now they're setting history. He gets moved to the White Sox. Oh, it's so sad. It's
It
so
is.
sad.
And I feel like there was the pictures of him circulating, just kind of like I don't know if it's soaking it in or accepting his fate or what the first few
Yeah,
days of being a White Sox. And it's just like, who wouldn't be like that? Who wouldn't be? You know?
I
And
don't
it's
know.
like, and before we move on, if you're Miguel Vargas, Brig, and the Dodgers win the World Series, do you take the World Series ring?
I don't
They
know.
offer you, they give you a World Series ring. Do you take it? Or do you say, no,
I don't
forget you guys?
I don't know. I think
You did
I
me
think you take
so
it.
dirty.
So here's what you do. You take it and then you put it away for 15 years, 10, 15, however long it takes for the acid to burn off. And then you can always say, "Yeah, I helped those guys get to the World Series and win the World Series." But there is always going to be that little asterisk in your mind and you're never going to be able to get away from it ever. But you should
I
have
know.
it just in case.
Yeah. So one of my things too is like, I mean, really, when it comes down to it, he did help because I'm looking right now to see who he got traded for. Um, so he got traded. He was part of the Tommy Edman trade.
Got it.
So yeah, like yeah, I helped because I was the piece that got. I was one of the pieces that got them Tommy Edman. Of course, absolutely, I helped them win the World Series.
Well,
I
he
helped
had
them
some
upgrade their
playing time.
position.
He had some playing time.
Well, not much though. Like that was one of the things is that like
That's
he.
true.
So I was watching Foul Territory, and they were really happy for him. Like, hey, this is a chance for him to get some really solid playing time, right? And like really prove himself to the
Hmm.
White Sox. And then this goes and happens. But he's played almost as many games with the White Sox as he got into it with the Dodgers. He played 30 games, had 80 plate appearances with the Dodgers this year, 26 games with the Sox, 96 plate appearances, batting a buck
Whoa.
22. And I think some of that has got to be mental. Has to be mental because he
Oh
had three
yeah.
bombs with the Dodgers, one with the Sox, OPS plus of 26 with the Sox, and 107 with the Dodgers. So there's got to be a mental thing. There has to be a mental thing going on there, like just
For
being
sure.
in that clubhouse with every single one of them. Because you saw
Yeah.
Tommy Pham, he got what did he get DFA'd or traded? I think he got traded to the Cardinals, and he
Yeah.
goes and pops off for a few days, and he gets DFA'd by the Cardinals and goes and signs with the Royals. He's popping off with the Royals again.
It's pretty much amazing.
Oh, it is amazing. There is a stink in that clubhouse, and I hope they can rid the entire building of it at this offseason. Because if not, man, they might just need to burn that place to the ground to get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So,
think so.
anyway,
It's a
all right,
dumpster
let's move
fire.
on. Yes, it's about to be an actual dumpster fire, I think, after this season.
Yeah. It needs
Baseball
to
family,
be.
want to remind you about Patreon. You can support the show by heading to patreon.com or clicking the link down in the description that will take you there to our Patreon page. You can see our 5 tiers of support: $1, $5, $10, $15, and a comically large $500 a month of support. Go check them out. Go see the things that that I promised Brig will do
Yeah.
if you join the $500 commissioner tier. And if not, if you just want to do the $1 a month tier and support the show that way, that's fine. You'll get the bullpen cut just like everybody else, and you get a sticker out of the deal. So how about that?
How you like
Okay.
them apples?
Yeah, I like apples. They're good and good for you. Okay, let's get into the
That's
national
a
TV
fact.
schedule, Brig. Why don't you start off with Friday night for us?
Friday night, MLB TV's free game of the day has Tampa Bay at Baltimore, 7:05 p.m. Apple TV Plus, Minnesota will be in Kansas City. That's going to be pay attentionable at 8:10 p.m. on Apple TV Plus on Friday. Then San Francisco will be in San Diego, 9:40 p.m. on Friday. Your ESPN Plus game is Colorado at Milwaukee at 6:10 p.m.
Love
Brad,
it.
tell us about
Let's
Saturday.
get I'll tell you about Saturday, Brig. Let me tell you about Saturday. MLB TV free game of the day is the Reds, the Mets. That's 4:10 p.m. Eastern time. No games on FS1. I think that we're just going to be getting college football the rest of the way. Pretty much the FS1. Um, so then we have Fox though is going to have some Major League Baseball. 7:05 p.m. You've got the Angels at the Rangers, and then your other games, these games are 7:15. You've got the Twins at the Royals, and then the White Sox at the Red Sox. The Battle of the Sox. Then
Mm-hmm.
ESPN Plus, you've got the Rays at the Orioles at 4:05 p.m.
Sunday, MLB TV's free game of the day is San Francisco at San Diego. That'll be at 4:10 p.m. Roku's game, your wake up in baseball, at 12:05 p.m. will be Tampa Bay at Baltimore. And let's see, ESPN Plus, Cleveland will be in Chavez Ravine playing the Dodgers. That's at 1:10 p.m. on Sunday. And then ESPN game will be Arizona at Houston, 7:10 p.m. on Sunday.
Love it. Okay, before we get into our series to watch this weekend, Brig, you have a mini game for us that I
I do have a mini game.
jumped
Oh,
right over?
man. Okay, listen. Yeah, you did jump over. How dare you? Here's the deal. I have 3 trivia questions. Okay,
Okay.
and they're based on fun facts. That's the only hint I will give you. Okay, you ready?
Yeah. Do it.
The Orioles play at Camden Yards. Beyond the right field concourse and across Utah Street is the iconic brick B&O warehouse. It is 60 feet beyond the right field wall, 439 feet from home plate at its nearest point. Has anyone ever hit the B&O warehouse during a game?
Yeah, one guy, I can't remember who it was. It was just like a couple years ago. Who was it?
The
I know
answer is
Griffey hit
no.
it during. Oh, I know Griffey hit it during the home run derby. I thought there was one
Yep.
person like 2 years ago who hit it.
I tried to find it. I looked and couldn't see it. Couldn't find because I had the same thought. So either I was moving too fast and missed it, or it didn't actually happen. You should look.
I am
But
looking right
yes,
now. Not there. Okay.
Griffey's the only guy that hit it. He did it during the home run derby. Those were my follow-up questions. Very good. Okay. What is the biggest trade, Brad, that you've ever heard of?
The biggest trade.
Yeah. Just the largest trade.
Well, I was looking
In
just now
terms
that
of
one that
Go
number of
ahead.
people.
Yep.
Yeah, when I was looking just a minute ago about the one with Miguel Vargas and Tommy Edman and all those guys, there was like 3 teams, and I want to say it was like 11 players, something like that.
That's pretty good. That's
It
a
is pretty
huge
good.
list.
Yeah.
11 players. What if I told you that it was more than that historically? There has been one trade that was more than that.
Okay.
How many players do you think got moved
I'm gonna
in
bet
one
like
trade?
16 players.
Okay. In a
Unless 2 teams traded their
one-to-one
entire active roster, which I really hope
in a
happens.
one-to-one swap when the Dodgers were moving to Los Angeles, the Cubs also wanted to make changes. Both teams swapped their entire 25-player minor league rosters.
Yes. That's fantastic.
Just
I
here.
love it. There,
You
you
take
take our
ours, we'll
team, we'll
take
take yours, mix it up, we'll be good.
You are moving anyway. 25 players, 1-to-1.
That's awesome. And a
All right,
bucket of
last question for the mini game, Brad. What is the
okay.
penalty for a player deliberately using his hat during a defensive play?
Triple. 3-base error.
Yeah, it's a ground rule triple.
Yeah. You
How
want
did
to
you
know how
know
I
that off
know
the top
that?
of your head? Yeah, please.
In like 1994, I
Yeah.
spent all of my allowance that entire summer buying baseball cards. Okay.
Right.
Literally, Brig, every penny. It was 96 cents for a pack plus tax. It was like $1. I got $1 every other day, something like that, for like dusting and making my bed or whatever. So I
Right.
bought so many baseball cards, and one baseball card in all those packs was like a what's the ruling game,
Yeah.
and it gave an example. It said Barry Bonds, playing left field for the San Francisco Giants, is chasing down a fly ball in the corner. He takes his hat off and sticks it up and catches the ball. What's the ruling? And it was multiple choice. And
Yeah.
so I made a guess. I was obviously wrong because a triple seems outrageous. But no, it's the ground rule triple. You're right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ground rule triple.
And I have, Brig, 25 years later, have not forgotten that.
Yeah.
Because that's a
Yeah.
stupid 30 years later, because that's the stupid stuff that is retained in my brain.
Huzzah. What a brain on that, Brad. Check out the big brain on Brad.
Love it.
Baseball
Okay,
family, name that reference.
Oh. That's a good one. He's a good one. Okay, our series to watch brought to you by SeatGeek. If we were going to games this weekend, these are the games we would go to, and we would get there using SeatGeek. You too can do that by heading to SeatGeek.com, using code baseball together to save $20 on your first order. That's baseball together, one word, at SeatGeek.com to get your tickets to the biggest games this weekend and anytime. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of MLB. And by the way, it works for college football tickets and NFL tickets. So make your plans accordingly. Save some money if you have never used SeatGeek before. So, Brig, my Mariners, they just keep reeling me right back in. giving me hope, and I don't know why. So this weekend, I'm going to be watching the Mariners playing the Cardinals because I have to. So there's
You
that.
do.
And I've kind of given up on the division mostly, but I have not given up entirely on the wild card yet because the Twins and the Royals seem like they don't want to go to the playoffs. And they're playing each other this weekend, so it's a good chance to make up some ground. So I will be watching the Twins and the Royals this weekend, and also Arizona at Houston because got to watch the division as well.
Yeah.
So who you got?
Makes sense. I am going to be watching Cleveland's baseball club play the Dodgers. That's fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
Twins Royals, fascinating to me. And then Yankees Cubs, obviously, I'm going to be watching the Yankees. And this is a really interesting opportunity for both teams, if you think about it. The Yankees currently sit a half a game back as we're recording this very moment. The Yankees had an off day today, so they're traveling to Wrigley. And then Baltimore, I'll watch whatever Baltimore does given the half game. So that's where I'm watching, and I'm frustrated.
You know, I saw something today. It was a meme on on Instagram. It said
Yeah.
Yankees won off day 5. So the Yankees lost their off day.
Yeah. Well, I'm just about sure of it at this point.
It feels like it. It feels like it sometimes. Like, oh man, it gets so frustrating to go through these stretches. We're going to talk more about
We
that
are
on the
going to,
big show next week.
that's right. I
But
was just going to say that. We've got a
yeah,
lot more to say there.
we're going to have to because there's some stuff going down on the boogie down, and we're going to have to address it. But before we get there, let's do today in baseball history. I love this one. Today in baseball history, pitchers who rake. September 5th, 1955, Don Newcomb of the Brooklyn Dodgers hits his 7th homer of the season for a National League record for home runs by a pitcher. He ended the season with a 1028 OPS in 117 at-bats. I love it.
Wow.
See, if every pitcher hit like this, we wouldn't need the DH because 7 home
I
runs and
agree.
1028 OPS, that's awesome.
It is awesome.
Get those pitchers in the batting cage, and I would be fine with
No, I would be too, but it's never going to happen. And it was
no.
destined to never happen anyway when you got
Right.
pitchers, killing themselves running down third base on their way to home and blowing out
And
both
that's
hammies.
so I I hated watching pitchers run the bases, especially like in the 90s when they were out there wearing those big puffy coats.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
So weird to watch. But this is always my thing. I was like, okay, like I get the pushback on the DH because you want your baseball players are athletes, you want them to hit, you want them to play the game, play all aspects of the game. Like if you want to keep them safe,
Yeah.
give them a designated runner. Let them hit. Although Brig, we've seen over the last several years that it seems like somebody's more likely to get hurt in the batter's box than they are on the base path.
Well, hit by pitches
Right.
are up, and we're going to talk about that on the big show this week as well because some things are being said and it makes sense that
Yeah, it
we
really
have a
does.
problem going on.
Yeah, it
We
really
have a
does.
problem.
Maybe they need to bring back sticky stuff. I don't know. But baseball family, thank you so much for joining us. Real quick, don't forget about Chinook Seeds. Head over to ChinookSeedery.com. Use code BTPod at checkout to save 10% off your order. Support your mouth, get the best seeds ever, and support your show. Support the show while you're at it. We appreciate all of your listening. Like, subscribe, rate, and review everywhere that you can, especially on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. We will catch you next week.